Hello, everyone, and welcome to TFYLP, episode number 298, recorded August 25th, 2018. I'm your host, Ron Land, aka Weird Wolf. Along with me this evening is Sean McGinnis.
Hello.
Peter Chavez.
Hello.
Robert Simmons.
Yo.
And Rick Alvarez.
Greetings, people of Earth.
Hope everybody's having a great week this week. It's been a long one for me, but aren't they all? Hope everybody is looking forward to this episode. If you're familiar with the luck of the draw, we had one, I believe, episode 268. So it's been several weeks ago. We planned on trying to do these at least once a month, but as you know, everybody knows, I got sick, and that kind of threw all that out of the way, and we used a lot of pre-records, and well, we're going to do another luck of the draw tonight. We'll explain that a little bit later. And then we're also, before we talk about that, we're going to talk just a little bit about junkers and fixing up your toys with spare parts and other toys. You know, it's like, say, if you have a G1 Huffer that's missing a leg, and you have another Huffer that's missing an arm, but he has a perfectly good leg. You know, a lot of people will fix toys that way. I remember back in the day, I had two skydives, and with the way the G1 aerial bots were, their arms were kind of on like a little mini ball peg with a little plastic piece that came out and connected to the arm. Well, that plastic piece on one of my skydives broke off, and then the very first skydive that I had, the head broke off inside a Silverbolt. So I had a headless skydive and I had an armless skydive, so just kind of took him apart and made a complete skydive and was all happy again. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that, you know, the how-tos and the wheres and things like that. We got some experience here on the show, and we'll talk about that and then move on into the luck of the draw. The luck of the draw will take up the bulk of the episode because that's just darn fun, as if, you know, fixing toys isn't fun, but it is. But before we do that, there's a little thing that we do once in a while called Ouch My Wallet. Rick, you said you had something you wanted to talk about? Yeah? What?
I thought we weren't doing that, but
yeah,
you know what?
I was just going to give you a one shot there.
I was really happy. I got a couple of the St. Louis mini bots, and now I have two sealed. This is a Cliff Jumper. I have a Brawn somewhere. I haven't seen him in a few years, and I got these two guys as well, Gears and a Bumblebee.
Ooh.
If you have any extras of these, please, I'm looking. Always looking.
I will check my bins. I have extras of random stuff everywhere.
And I broke down and I brought an Admiral Ackbar for $3.
It's a trap.
Just so I can have them on my desk. I don't collect black figures for Star Wars, but for $3, I could not pass.
You don't collect black figures. You're racist. But no, the Ackbar, you said there was a whole pallet of those?
Yeah, there was a whole pallet of these. Just Ackbar, and I think maybe 2 or 3 rows Tico figures.
Tico. Well, keeping it short, do each of you guys have another Ouch My Wallet, or do you just want to? I know Robert said he had something real quick.
Yeah, I got Masterpiece Dinobot in from Captured Prey, which also came along with a couple of XTB toys. We got Toro came in, and Crack Up finally, which is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Really damn good. Really impressed with this guy. Toro, not as much. It gets the job done. But
I'm sad that he didn't get any Hellions in. I'm gonna look for one at TFCon.
Rob, are you going to do reviews of those figures?
Yeah, I've got something scripted out right now for the X-Transbots cars.
Looking forward.
It's going to be
Rob.
it's going to be a bit different. It's going to be
Rob,
different.
I figured out who you look like, and now I can't get the sight out of my head. You look like Baron Corbin.
He doesn't know wrestlers.
Yeah. Do you see it, Duran? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, with red hair, a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh. Now he's looking up Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
He's gonna now he's gonna come back and he goes, nah. He's tall like him too, so. Peters, you have something you want to mention real quick?
Oh, just real quick. They haven't come in yet, but I purchased yesterday because my brain was screaming at me. I got a box 6 train and a box 6 liner.
Ooh.
So,
very nice.
Yay, they're coming. Finally.
Nice.
My birthday's in 2 weeks, so I'm expecting a pile of stuff from my family. Expecting. It's going to be good.
I can expect all I want, but half the time I don't get.
They've been really consistently good on delivering. Yeah, so I'm excited.
I'm actually kind of disappointed. I don't usually get a lot of toys as a gift. You know, it's like once in a blue moon. I'm not lucky in that way, especially for my family. They don't do that. Period.
Yeah, my wife hates my toys, but
I've told them not to buy me Transformers because I'm already going to have it. Or like, how are they going to know what I have and don't have? They don't understand the hobby. So.
Yeah.
I have really specific lists set up, and like she'll tell me not to buy from a certain category of don't buy from this list or this list, and I'm okay. I won't. There's other stuff I can work on over here, so it works.
It's like at Christmas time. My girlfriend, she's like, I have no idea what to get you and everything. And I'm like, you know what I like, and she's like, well, I don't know what you have and what you don't have, and I'm like, okay, there's a little fat dude up in Louisville. His name is Orson. Contact him and see what I have not paid for yet at the store. And I said, there's usually a lengthy list. Just ask him. And no, she won't. She did.
Yeah,
she
my
did
wife
once.
just lets me go willy nilly. She says, "Buy what you want. It's from me." So I do.
But it's not.
oh,
the same.
my wife gets me stuff all the time. She doesn't know about it.
Yep.
She gets me stuff.
But
all
she
the time.
does whenever she gets the credit card bill.
Yeah, we had that talk today again. She's like, Rick, what? This is why I have 4 jobs. My wife actually just quit one of her 5 jobs. She's down to 4 jobs now.
Oh God.
So.
It's like, what did you spend $4,000 on? A Java barge.
Yeah, well, that's what she got me. That's the only toy my wife's ever bought me is the Java sail barge. The only toy she's ever knowingly bought me.
Sean, you have Ouch My Wallet?
Yeah, this guy just showed up today. I wasn't able to open him yet, but he looks pretty cool.
I just went and ordered the Japanese one from Orson because it's going to save me. By the time if I got the HTS San Diego Comic Con one, between that the cost of that plus the shipping and the tax and everything, what I would get the Japanese one from Orson, I would be saving a whole 29 cents.
Yep.
Getting the Japanese one. So I'm going to go the cheap route and save 29 cents.
Yeah. It's hard to get. It's already out of stock again, so
Yeah.
I got it on a second order. I got a couple things from eBay. Some oldies but goodies. Big Daddy.
Ooh.
That's a great toy.
Yeah, I've had him. I think this is my 3rd time. Prime Robots
sellers
in the
are great.
Skies Cliff Jumper.
Ooh.
Well, I worked on that one.
Is that
Yeah,
the
That's one that comes with a big hammer.
first release?
Not the first edition,
edition?
but the
Oh, it's the crappy second one.
the Robots in the Skies, and then I got this guy from TFX.
That's so fun too. That's a real fun toy.
Yeah, I love it.
That's the Jizai designer. Anything he designs, or not everything, but the majority of his stuff I find to be like really fun and unique transformations.
I love
Mm-hmm.
the panel
awesome.
slide from where the hood goes from
Yes.
like the chest.
That was it. That's awesome.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, the only thing you got to watch is whenever you open this, if you don't shave down the windscreen back here in the corner, it tends to rub. And one last thing is Ratchet. So,
Prime
did
Ratchet.
you work on that too, Rick?
Which one?
Prime Ratchet.
Rache?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep.
There was a really cool redeco of that I helped out on that never came out. It was a retool, actually. It had a new head. It was supposed to be gears.
Mm-hmm.
And it had this cool tampo on the door. It was like a circle, and like I think it was like the shape of the continent of America, and it said Mount St. Hilary Rescue Team or something like that.
Huh.
Oh, neat.
The continent of America?
The American continent.
Oh, which one?
The North one.
Oh, okay.
Because there's more than one America. Well, like
I was just checking.
I had an Ouch in my wallet, but I didn't. I have not opened it yet. But it's the Make Toys Iron Wheel. It's going back to what I just stated. I have a.
You mean Ouch Orson's wallet?
No, I paid for this. It's mine. But going back to what we were talking about, I have an extensive list that's literally been sitting on his hold shelf, which is what the stasis pod is now. It's open to everybody. Used to he would just do a stasis pod, which for local people, because we're special like that. But now he does it for everybody. But this has literally been in my stasis pod for 2 years, and I'm like, you know what? It's time to come
Ouch
home.
Orson's wallet.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did find 2 Nova Stars randomly at Walmart.
Jealous.
I haven't found any yet.
It was the only thing they had there.
That was your Lucky Friday find?
My Lucky Friday.
Speaking of junk, so Sean, you're the new guy to the podcast. I'll let you start off, and since you're a known customizer,
Well, not that known. But
well, I'd heard of you before I met you, so that makes you known to me.
thank you.
So,
Where do I start? Well, if you want to fix any toy, first you have to have tools. So, you need a set of small jeweler's tools, a pin punch, because a lot of toys, like this guy here, he had a lot of pins in them. So, you need a small hammer, pin punch, jeweler's tools, and then you got to find parts. If you're looking for G1 parts, I mean, those are kind of plentiful. They're expensive, but plentiful. The newer stuff, like this guy, good luck finding a replacement arm or a hammer. Or,
you just have to find one that's maybe beat up or something, maybe.
Yeah, it's crazy what he goes for nowadays. It's alarming. So
That's because The Rock voiced him. So
yeah,
For 5 seconds.
mm-hmm. That's all.
And then we couldn't get him back for the second episode.
Yeah.
I thought that was a big bait and switch. Not to sidetrack, but yeah.
Did you guys plan on killing him off early, or?
Well, originally, they wanted to make Smokescreen a character in the show and kill him off. I'm like, Smokescreen? We can't kill off Smokescreen. That's like Mike Bailout's favorite character. So I'm like, no, it can't be Smokescreen. And then Aaron and I were talking, who could it be? And we thought, well, we need a red shirt. Who's a red shirt? Oh, Cliff Jumper's red. So we
Literal
put
red shirt.
in, but our argument was that he's there throughout all of season 1, and when Megatron finally shows up to face the Autobots at the end of season 1, that's when Cliffjumper dies. But the studio didn't see it that way.
I was just happy to see him come back for season 2. So, for the flashbacks.
Not voiced by The Rock.
Yeah.
So was he always going to be voiced by The Rock? Did you all plan on that, or did just a happy accident?
We had no idea until the producers told us a few months before the show aired. We didn't.
Well, back to Junkers.
But
Yes.
we were very specific in not telling anyone that he died in the first scene. And then they fucking gave the episode away to a website.
He was such a good character. Such a good character, too. Yeah, but back to Junkers.
And zombies.
I myself kind of, yeah. Speaking of junkers and zombies, I have a buddy. He pretty much that's all he buys is junkers. If he finds them at antique stores or anything, he'll pick them up. I'm not so much. I don't pick up junkers that often, but I do keep parts. I imagine a lot of you guys keep parts also.
I'm an old guy. I haven't been a
one of a few.
Yeah.
See, I haven't been a parts from when I used to just buy everything. But as my collection grew, now I just buy complete. If it's not complete, I don't buy it. I'm not interested.
Yep. Now, there's two different definitions of complete that we've talked about here on the show before. There's complete, where it has everything that came with it whenever it was brand new, and then there's display complete. You know, what would make it complete to display? You know, like, for Omega Supreme, G1 Omega Supreme, you don't need all the track parts to make him display complete in robot mode. See what I mean?
Yeah, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for me.
That's not complete. Then that's not complete.
Yeah, it's not complete.
It's display complete.
No such thing.
But not everyone displays their stuff in robot mode.
That's true.
Yep. Yeah, I kind of swap back and forth between alt mode and robot mode. It's a fun way to pull the old robots off the shelf and handle them again, flip them around, and put them back up.
Everything for me exists in robot mode.
Yep.
I don't have the space for anything else.
Yeah.
Unless I get lazy and transform something other, and then I don't have time to put this back in the other mode, and then I go back and I'm like, where am I going to put this on the shelf for right now?
Yeah. Yeah, and back to parts and junkers at our meetups we have locally. There's, that's whenever everybody brings their parts. It's fun to do like a little parts party there in the parking lot, and try to complete all your old bots or buy new bots. So, that's why I always keep parts on hand.
Yeah, early on collecting, when you're first starting out, and especially when I was younger and have less income and I had a lot more to buy, buying stuff incomplete a lot of times I felt was a good way to go, because if you can get your Dinobot, you can get your because the Dinobots are expensive, the G1 Dinobots, but you can get a Grimlock without his bits and a bit beat up, and it's well, there, at least I got a Grimlock, but I always had the plans of buying a better one later, or maybe piecing them together. One of them I still have that I really need to just buy a new one here. This guy.
Oh.
I'm sure there's a common thing,
Wouldn't it just be a pin fix? Just put a pin through it?
Pretty much, but getting a pin in there is not as... You actually would have to take quite a bit apart to get the pin in there. But this is definitely a junker I still have. A junker-ish. I got all his parts for him now. I did eventually pick up the pieces when they were affordable, but it's got a broken part on it. It's kind of a junker, and I've just been too lazy to go buy better Dinobots. All of my Dinobots are kind of that way. They're kind of beat up. And I have some weapons here and there that were broke that I just glued back together. I'm good enough for me, because I still got all this other crap I want to buy. But these days I'm like, Rick, if I'm buying anything now, it has to be in the condition and the completeness that I want it, or I'm just not interested in scrounging them together. And even though I think that's a fun part of the hobby, I know guys that do, like Sean was saying, they go and they'll buy junk bins.
That is their shtick, yeah.
Yeah, they'll buy junk bins. I think Tate does that a good bit, or at least he used to. And they'll get them, they'll piece them together, and they have a lot of fun out of the hobby with that, and I think that's cool. But I've just I no longer find interest in it. The exception being rare crap. And so I had a couple I wanted to show over here that I did do kind of the junker stuff with. One of them here is Metro Titan. Half of this is the knockoff, and half of this is actually
a real one.
An actual G1 that was just beat up and missing a lot of parts. So this right here is one of the main things from the G1 Metro Titan is the sticker is different. If you didn't know that, the logo is very different. But the knockoff completely screwed up and has these pink hands and stuff, but the one I had didn't have it. So this guy's a zombie of parts from the knockoff and the G1 figure to get so I have a.
But it's
complete
wholly
enough for me.
unique to you.
Yeah, it's one of those I'm not going to pay whatever Metro Titan costs, and kind of the other example I have of that is Artfire.
Ooh.
And when I bought this guy, he was super duper yellow, so I did the treatment on him, which he's a lot less yellow.
Which treatment did you do to him?
The
Peroxide?
Yeah, peroxide.
I've never tried that.
I'd like to
It
try
lasts forever, right?
I mean, it may have taken on a little bit of yellow, but I did this. I mean, I don't even know how long, like 8 years ago, 9 years ago. I mean, he was butter yellow. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I have a few other rare ones like that I gave that treatment to. But then, like, his grill here, that's actually G1 Inferno's grill. Or maybe G2.
But it's the same thing, so you can't really tell.
Exactly. He's missing a kneecap, which I'll never find because they're black on the other ones. And then the parts were Repro parts. So I make a few exceptions just because this cost a lot less than Artfire actually cost to get him with all his bits. And it looks good enough for my shelf. So I'll make exceptions.
I'd like to try that peroxide gel treatment. I've seen it. I think it's Ronan Kaufman. He has a video on that. And my problem is I don't really have any hair salons around here, and I don't really have a reason to go to a hair salon. So, that's about the only place you can find. I even looked on Amazon. I really can't find the gel.
Well, I can probably get some. My wife's a hairstylist, and we got a salon downstairs, so I might try that one day. I might ship you a little bottle and see how you like it.
I've heard that actually, according to his video, it actually does a lot better, and it's a lot less messy. You can actually apply it in specific areas, whereas the peroxide,
That's cool.
You gotta really make sure you don't get it on like painted areas that could actually peel the paint off. With the gel, you can go around those areas if you need be.
Well, the good news is if you're doing it with G1 toys, there's not a lot of paint to worry about.
But I've looking at the video, I believe the gel also works reasonably well on colored plastic. He had an 8-face in the video that actually had some the yellowed purple. And it didn't completely fix it, but it fixed it good enough. That it wouldn't. You wouldn't look at it and go, "Oh my God, that's awful." And I've got several here that I'd like to try that with. I've got a. Let's see here. What was it? I had Triptychon, G1 Triptychon. That I'm. That's my little project right now. For the junkers, getting little pieces for Triptychon here and there. But go ahead.
I've done it on some of the colored pieces as well, just the normal peroxide trick, and it still does. It is still effective there. About the same. I mean, it's the same exterior. It's not going to make it bone white.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I've had mixed results with colored plastic using the normal dunking in sunlight, whatever peroxide treatment. I picked up a Piranacon for a song for nothing, but it was all yellowed and screwed up. And I did the peroxide treatment, and everything bleached out to really faded, weird colors. It's not a good deal.
I did it on Ghost Shooter and either Hydra or Buster. I can't remember which. I always get those mixed up, which one's which, because those both had the non-white parts were yellowed. And again, it made the distinction. Especially on Ghost Shooter, he's got the flap for his power stuff because it's the Night Beat mold. You could tell when you flipped it down that the area around it was different colored, where that thing had been up, and so it made it the transition isn't as bad, but it's still there, and it didn't screw up any of the rest of them. But it's kind of, I guess, a good word of warning if you're doing that to try to fix up things that. Make sure it's on something that you're not gonna, be devastated if it ruins it.
Right, but also, I mean, you could break it down into small enough components. For Ghost Shooter, you can separate the white parts from the blue parts, and kind of, hopefully without tearing any stickers or anything. And which I guess goes back to reconstructing figures, like Sean was saying earlier. Just got your parts, swapping things out. Not that I would do that with the Ghost Shooter. Not a lot of random Ghost Shooters floating around.
Yeah,
yeah. But break it down into as small a component as possible so that you're only bleaching the white stuff or only bleaching, whatever.
Yep.
And guys, let's make sure that when we sell these stuff, if we ever sell them, we're upfront and honest with people.
You
that
have
it's
to be.
stored.
Yeah.
That you've done a treatment to it, or that it's repro stickers. I get real
Repro parts.
upset, and I like to rip people up when they're selling something with a repro bubble and they don't tell you it's a repro bubble. It's not the same.
Yeah, people
So
have to be held
those things are
accountable.
okay. I have repro bubbles. I have repro labels. But if we ever sell that stuff, we just got to be honest about what it is.
Yep.
Or I will find you.
You have a very specific set of skills.
Very specific way of collecting.
Yeah.
So Sean, you want to continue with
Yeah.
process
Well,
and everything?
yeah. There's a hydrogen, peroxide treatment. That's for rewhitening stuff or turning your teal figure back to blue. Colored figures. Have you guys ever used Future floor polish?
Yeah.
I don't use
Got a big bucket of it.
Future. I actually use this right here, and I keep it handy, especially with modern
works, too.
figures. And this is clear nail polish remover. I like the fact that it's got the little brush on there already. And here's my next guy. I've got the Mech Fans Toys Mech Soul, or whatever they call him. It's their
Springer.
legend size Springer. And yeah, he's got some loose hip joints here, but that's easily fixed with just taking the hip off and spreading that on the ball joint and letting it dry.
Yeah.
Work.
Yeah. The nice thing about Future is you don't have to take things apart. You just dip a little toothpick in your Future floor polish, and then you dab it right there inside the ball joint, and it kind of just actually self levels around the ball as you work it around, and it's good to go.
Yeah.
That's the reason I use it. It's
Well,
just
the nail
ease of use,
polish. Lucas actually asked in the live chat, does the nail polish damage the figure at all? I only apply it to the actual ball joints and the places where it's loose. So I really, it's, you don't even see it. It's kind of one of those things that happens behind the scenes. The Titan Returns Skull Cruncher. Everybody had the issue with him. You got him right out of the package, he wouldn't even stand because his hips were so bad. I literally just took the legs apart and did the nail polish to every ball joint and mushroom joint and his legs. Now he's right as rain. I just let it. I left it all disassembled and let it dry overnight. Whenever I got up the next morning, everything wasn't even tacky. I just popped it all back together, and he's good. That's not to say that it won't wear off. Sometimes you may have to reapply, but it's not a big deal.
Yep.
Just try to keep it away from paint. Just be just be smart about it. Don't apply it on paint. Don't apply it near stickers, because yes, it is one of those things that can actually damage those areas.
Kind of related to that, the other side, I think it's kind of good for every transformer to have is some silicone shock oil,
Yes.
which is good for the other way around when that joint won't move, and to help loosen them up with don't squirt WD-40 down there.
No.
Please.
No. Well, the RC, it's like for RC cars and stuff, isn't it? And it's made to work with plastics. It won't damage the plastic. I bought at TFCon USA year before last, maybe 2 years ago, I bought a Road Caesar from our friend Artfire 2000. He was missing the swords, but he had everything else. The biggest problem with that Road Caesar is that the Brainmaster gimmicks, the springs and the joints in there was really, really tight. It was scary. So he cut me a deal on it. Like I said, he was otherwise complete. And fortunately, Megamus had a set of the knockoff swords for all three of the bots. So I kind of have him complete, even though the swords are the wrong colors. They're the right swords. Which I'm fine with that. For what I would have to pay to get a 100% right complete one. I'm like, I've got a complete.
It's a good compromise.
Yeah, I've got a complete road Caesar, so I'm happy with that. But I did the gel like you have there, the RC grease to the Brainmaster gimmick, and it's like butter now. I mean, you just stick that Brainmaster in there, and that elevator goes right up, and the face pops right up. They work great. The other problem that it had, and I think I did a little bit too much, is I actually applied it to the sides of the heads of the robots where they connect, because it was extremely tight. I thought I was actually going to break Blacker putting Braver and Laster in there, because the tolerance was just so freaking tight. I guess over time the plastic had swelled, and it's not really noticeable to the naked eye, but whenever you try to fit something in where it's supposed to go and it's like a really tight fit, plastic does that, especially after almost 30 years. And who knows what kind of environments it's been in. It might have been in a really humid environment, what have you. But that being said, I applied some of that grease to the sides of the head. Well, I've got to be careful when I pick up my Road Caesar now, because it's so slick going in and out of there. They will literally fall out. I mean, they click in, but it's just such a smooth joint now. They would slide right out. And I'm like, I would rather have them slide out easily than too hard and possibly break the toy. That I highly recommend that RC. You want to show that to the camera again, maybe closer so people can see it? That might actually look for that. It's, what is it called? Factory Team Silicone Shock Fluid.
I can't speak 100% to like this is the best type to buy or anything. I searched on Amazon and this came up and was like one of the cheapest ones or whatever, and I just bought it.
Now, is that a fluid or is that like a gel? The one I got is like a gel. It came in like a squeeze tube.
Yeah, you squeeze it to get it to come out.
Okay.
But it's technically a fluid, but it's a little bit more of a gel. It's like it's a little thicker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like doing the repair, as it were, to Road Caesar. What I did is I took like a piece of paper and I put out like a line of the grease on the piece of paper, and then I would take a Q-tip and I would dab it on that line just enough to get a good little light coating on the head of the Q-tip, and then I could use the Q-tip to get into the areas like if you're familiar with the Brainmaster gimmick, I would rub it on the walls of the plastic where the hinges rub up against, and then I would rub it on the hinges themselves, and then you don't force it, but you like slowly work it, and as you slowly work it, work the joint, it gets working. Yeah, Sean's sitting there like dirty mind. You slowly work the joint, and then you can keep going faster, and then faster and faster, and then it works perfect.
And then the white stuff comes out.
Yeah,
Guys.
But yeah, I mean, just be really careful and really slow with it at first, and let it work itself into the joints, and it self lubricates itself.
If you're doing it right.
Yeah, if you're doing it right, it lubricates itself.
Yeah.
We've got entirely dirty minds on this podcast. Rick is trying to ignore us, so.
All right.
Children.
What's the next topic? Do we have another? Well, not topic, but
Well,
a subject of junkies.
how's the best way to go about getting parts? Now, obviously, if you got like a, let's say a classic Seeker, and you need I'm sure you can find classic Seekers all over the place, and I'm sure there's junkers galore out there, and that's a modern figure, as an example. What's the best way to go about finding parts for that?
Well, there's always eBay. but you're going to pay out the nose. I'd say go to a local convention. A lot of dealers there have a lot of junkers, a lot of bins full of robots and Ziplocs. You can probably find what you need there. Locally, there's
or
a guy
just
I know
a bin, or just
in
a
our group.
bin with toys that are incomplete and broken in it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he has. I mean, this guy, he's local. He has tackle box after tackle box full of G1 classics, all the way up. But as you go newer, there's less and less parts for some reason. I guess everybody nowadays keeps their.
To be
their
honest,
robots
though,
in better shape.
if it's a relatively new toy, it should be relatively easy to find a replacement and just buy a brand new one. It's a lot easier to go and buy, say, a Universe 2.0 figure brand new than just try to find a junker laying around to fix a wing for a Universe 1.0 Silverbolt. Just go buy a new Silverbolt.
Yep.
That's not to say throw the old Silverbolt away, because eventually that it's going to be hard to find too.
Yes, don't throw it away. People need parts.
Yeah, people will need
Eventually.
parts. Maybe not now, maybe not tomorrow, but they will eventually.
Yeah, I think two other good places to find junkers and parts. I think some of that helps a lot more if you're into custom fodder, because you can work with whatever you get. But your local comic shops, they're still out there. A lot of comic shops carry toys as well, and lots of times they'll have just whatever they have, and especially if you got a comic shop, the heavier they deal in toys, the more likely they've bought lots, which means more likely that they have a box full of garbage that they're just happy to get off their hands, but they just can't bring themselves to throw it away. As well as yard sales. You hit up garage sales, you're gonna find mom that went through cleaning out the kid's closet and is just like, I don't know what this crap is, and you're like, give $5 for the box, and you can walk over to the still and go to town.
I think those days have come and gone.
I don't know.
No, they have not.
Look at yard sales, garage sales, Craigslist, just buying collections. They're done. They want $100 for the entire tote or a couple of totes in some cases, and just yoink, it's all mine now. I'll sort through it and do whatever with it.
The days of finding G1 toys like that is.
Oh,
G1, yes, but
we're not,
classics,
we're talking
Universe,
about
whatever.
That.
Yeah, modern stuff.
I mean, sometimes my parents every now and again will go yard selling, and a couple of times, they came like, hey, we found some toys, didn't know if you want them. Like, they paid $25 for this box of garbage, and I didn't want it, but I got friends that I can disseminate it out to, people that like to dabble with that stuff and play with that type of stuff. So it's definitely still out there, but no, we're not talking about finding that G1 steel out at a yard sale, but just boxes of junkers from more modern lines. Absolutely.
I say that, but there was a story recently circling the groups in Facebook. Somebody found a powered convoy for $3 at a.
I saw that.
Savers.
At a Goodwill. It was just a cab, but an authentic power convoy cab for $3.
I always want the story of that toy. How did that end up? It had to be a collector had it,
Well, it's
and
like
somebody got rid of the stuff and just was like, oh, he had a few toys, and they just Goodwilled it, right? I mean,
that's like the seller I Am Ratchet. He found 73 sealed Stars Mail Away Cosmos figures in a barn. What?
yeah.
How does that happen?
What's the journey for this toy?
I have asked Morgan time and again, what is your secret? Where do you find these cases of sealed G1s? And he's like, I have my sources. I'm like, you must be selling crack out the back door for these things. Like, what?
Yeah, I know, not to change the subject too much, but like, when my time comes and I kick the bucket, the wife knows, like, here's a list of Transformer people, friends of mine. Get in contact with them. Just tell them whatever commission they think is fair. Go to town. So that, I mean, yeah, there's definitely some stuff that's not worth it.
That only works to a point, man. When we moved to this house, we had 4 42-foot long trucks come in to move all my crap. And I told my wife, listen, when I die in the next few years, you need to contact Tony and just have him come over and stay for a week or two and have him mail us. She's like, no. he's just going to give me a check, and then he's going to take it all because I don't want to deal with this. It's too much stuff.
You can't do that though.
You can do that.
I know, but he's got to know exactly what he's got there. He just can't pull a random number out of his ass and write a check for it.
She's like, I don't know. He'll give me $25,000 or whatever, and then he'll just take all the shit and get it out of this house. Just want it out of this house.
If he's got that much laying around. Yeah. I mean, at what point, like, overall, I won't really care. I'm dead. So.
Yeah, I'll be dead, so it won't matter. But, I got kids, and hopefully my daughters will pick it up. They like it. They know not to play with daddy's toys unless I say it's okay.
Well,
the main thing is to have a section labeled Junkers to keep it on topic. That way that she knows that stuff she can just put out on the street with a free sign on it. So she shouldn't have to deal with it. But this stuff over here, that you need to care about. But the Junkers, just recycle it back into the community.
Yeah, she knows that the stuff that's in the big glass cases is the more expensive stuff. Like, if the case has a lock on it and you have to find the key to unlock the case, there's a reason it's in that case. So she understands that.
If you have to find a ball peen hammer to break the glass to get into the case.
In case of emergency, break glass.
Yes. And on that note, if you... we've actually talked about the grim subject before of, what happens to my toys whenever I die. And unfortunately, it happens to us collectors. We've had several of our friends and close colleagues pass away, and their collections have had to be passed on to other people to deal with. I know J.D. Church from the Radio Free Cybertron podcast, our own Chad Williams for this podcast. They both passed on, and their collections were basically their legacy. I think Brian and Dawn are still... They may still have some of JD's toys that they're still trying to sell. I know Chad's collection, the majority of it went to his oldest son, who now is a huge Transformers fan, and still texts me and messages me to this day, "Hey, look at this cool new Transformer I got." It brings a tear to my eye every single time. I don't. He usually texts me at times whenever I can't talk, like in the middle of the day when I'm asleep. But yeah, if you want to hear more on that, and I know it sounds like a really grim topic, but it's actually a really, really important topic that needs to be talked about. We may revisit it sometime down the road, but go looking for it here on our YouTube channel. Not right now. Do it later after we're off the air. But go looking for it later and give it a watch. It's a serious overtone, but it's important. I think you should check that out. And the only reason I bring that up is we kind of diverged into that little off topic there, and it was relevant here. But you guys have any other thoughts on junkers and obtaining parts? Go ahead, Peter.
Sorry. In the 90s, my whole, like, I've been doing this forever, I guess, but I got really, really, really into it in the 90s. I worked at a used toy store, and the owner, she was really sweet. She didn't know anything about Transformers. She knew Star Wars front and back up to that point, but didn't know anything about Transformers, and so she let me work basically for toys rather than money. So that was kind of cool. It benefited me. But yeah, getting toys together, yeah, it's awesome. It was a really, really great situation. But I was able to, repair things that were kind of junked out, and well, this one came and the figure is busted, but the accessories or whatever are good. So that was really beneficial, and that's what kind of got me into buying lots, like actual lots, buying collections or whatever. So I don't know, I'm digressing. Just pairing things up and learning how to piece it all together and stuff. Like Sean was saying, it's a lot harder with the more modern stuff, because I guess either people are keeping it all together or they're just like throwing it away in its entirety. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of parts for like RID, especially RID, Prime, things like that. I don't know. It's just not out there.
I see a lot of parts at yard sales for like the rescue bots and the younger. Transformers.
I mean, I think we have a lot of not to get too heavy-handed or anything, but pretty much a very disposable culture. And so I think there's, it's like, oh, here's my son's beat-up toys, Transformer toys that may be in from like the classics or generations type of lines, and they're just like, meh, chuck it. It's just move on to the next thing. They don't want to, yeah, or try to recycle them. Yeah, like I don't think they're interested in the effort of trying to sell, a batch of junkers for $5. It's a lot of people that $5 isn't worth their time. They don't want to deal with the headache. They don't know what to do it, so just chuck it.
The best thing to do is find a dealer that is willing to buy junkers. But
put them all together and match everything up. Yeah.
Let them deal with piecing things together, or they can turn around and sell them as junkers. But selling junkers,
your typical parent's not going to know a dealer around.
No, but if you're a collector and you're looking to sell or get out, or hey, I've just got a bunch of this shit, I need to get rid of it. That's something that you can do, because as a collector, you should know at least one or two dealers, and if they don't do it, then I'm sure they know somebody who does. But
like on Craigslist, there's always like ads for like, I'm buying collections, sell me your junk toys, even if it's whatever. And in every local market has some dude that wants to just buy whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So Craigslist,
there's even
Facebook groups,
toy stores in some places around that will do that. But don't expect to get, okay, it's a G1 Transformer, it should bring me some top dollar. No, that Headmaster body is going to bring you about $5 max, probably. So you're not going to get a whole lot if you're trying to sell. If you're trying to buy, don't overpay for a junker. Especially if it's missing a lot of parts, or if it's missing one part, you might pay near the collector price for it.
See what the complete price is. See how much that gun is separately, and boom, there's what you're paying.
Yeah.
Now, so if you want to pay overpriced, if you want to pay top dollar for just a piece, then go to eBay. By all means, feel free to get on eBay and spend all of your money.
That being said, though, there are some pieces like, and I mentioned the Headmaster body is a good example. You can buy Headmaster bodies all day for next to nothing, but you go to look for that Grax or that Monzo, you're going to be paying some money. Because that is the key part of that toy. Or if it's like for Skull Cruncher, you need Grax, and you also need that tail sword, because the tail sword is also the tail for the alligator to make both modes complete. So those you will pay money for, because they're important, highly important pieces.
Right, but if I want to buy like a Gen 1 Roadbuster, I can buy a complete one for, $150, or I can buy the antenna by itself for $100.
Yeah.
Which one do I want to do?
Exactly.
That's one of the last G1 parts I bought, was like the last bits for Roadbuster, because he's so hard to find complete. Like even dealers that deal with that, they're going to always be selling whatever Roadbuster with how many parts they have at the time. And if they get extra parts, they'll keep adding and making it more complete. But generally, it sells at that partial complete, because most I shouldn't say most, I have no idea, but I think a lot of people are like, that much for the antenna, I'll live without the antenna to have Roadbuster. Just move on with their life. But, oh, man. And you just brought up some PTSD with that, man.
and if
I'm here to help.
If you're also one of those collectors, like I admit I was several years back, it's like you want a Japanese release toy. Let's go Overlord, Deathsaurus, Victory Saber. If you want one of those and you're willing to buy one incomplete, just be aware that it's not easy to find. It's as easy to find a complete one. It's easier to find a complete one and buy that than sit around and wait to see if you can find the sword for Victory Saber, or a nose cone for Overlord. You're not going to do it. If you think that you're going to buy a junker Japanese toy, or a relatively rare toy, good luck trying to piece it together. You're going to either buy another junker to try to complete that one, or you're going to buy repro parts.
Yeah, that's
So I have a
repro for
real
Artfire and knock off for Metro Titan.
Yeah.
That's the only way it's going to happen.
Mhm.
I have a real life story of that. So back, this is before a lot of you kids were born. There used to be a magazine called Toy Fair, and I had lent them. They were doing an article on Japanese Transformers, and so I lent them my Deathsaurus, and it came back with the golden chest, the horn on the blue chest, the bird. It's not the bird, the lion thing.
The
Broken.
tiger breast, yeah.
Yeah, the tiger breast. The horn, the chrome horn came broken. So Toy Fair magazine, shit, that was 1995, 1996, and I just found a replacement part for that last year, and I
Wow.
paid $50 for that horn just so I can complete my Deathsaurus. Recomplete my Deathsaurus.
Yeah.
Now, I bought my Deathsaurus sealed in the box for $400. This, of course, this was, many years ago when I was still in high school. So, now trying to go back and do I just get the part or do I complete it?
Is
I
it
just
worth
had to be-
spending 20 years looking for a part?
I was actively looking, but I always kept my eyes open, and somebody posted that part on a Facebook group, just that part, and I told him my whole story, and I think he wanted like $100 for it. And I told him the whole story. He's like, "Have it for 50."
It's worth the price, though. To complete that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a complete story now in the box. Shit, that's a nice $800 piece.
I bought my Deathsaurus missing the Eagle Breastmaster guns, knowing full well that I would never find those. But fortunately, there is Repro Man on Facebook that actually makes high quality repros of those guns, and I got them for $20. So, hey, I know those are the repro guns, but hey, it's still complete.
It's good enough.
They are copied off the actual guns, so what's the difference to me? I mean, I didn't
resell it.
I didn't buy it for
Right.
resale value. I bought it because it's an important toy for me, and it doesn't bother me that I know two tiny pieces that are less than little more than an inch long and weigh less than an ounce a piece. They're not going to destroy the value of that toy to me. So now, if it's like a wing, yeah, I can understand that. One of those giant wings.
Actually, I have a couple of recent ones that come to mind on this. I have a Galaxy Shuttle, and I recently, a few years, I think I bought that maybe at the last BotCon. I bought it from Artfire, but he's missing that gun that turns into the tail fin in shuttle mode. But it was, the price was adjusted accordingly, and I was like, that's the closest I'm probably ever going to get to a Galaxy Shuttle. That isn't just looks like a stick of butter with broken parts. Nothing was broken on it. I was like, good enough for me, and I'll never find that part. I'll passively look for it. If I see it one day, then sure. If I see a Junker Galaxy Shuttle, because they do show up sometimes, maybe I will, but I'm really not that hot about it either. You just kind of accept what you got.
Yeah. It all goes with what you're happy with and everything. So before we move on from the junker topic and everything, I want to go around the room here and see if you guys can think of one toy that you pieced together that really made you happy. If you found that one piece that completed your toy, or you searched for years, like Rick did with his Deathsaurus. You searched for years and finally found that one part and put it all together. How satisfying it was. What one toy was it for you? Do you guys have any of those? Okay, Peter.
For me, it was the Ultra Pretenders, Roadblock and Skyhammer, because they're just so laden with gold plastic, and finding just everything that was unbroken and getting it all together. It took a while, and it was totally worth it.
Okay. What about you, Robert?
Yeah, I don't think I have any tails like that because I think I've got to the point where, again, I bought them and they were incomplete. I couldn't find the parts, and I eventually just bought a complete one, and then sold my old incomplete one instead. And Skyhammer is one of those. I got it complete, and was like, yay.
All right. Sean, what about you?
I don't have a story like that, but I will one day whenever I find Hosehead's left head antenna, his little, little head gun.
Those seem like they would
Let
be
me-
relatively common, though, wouldn't they?
Let me check
you
my
know-
bins for you.
Okay, thank you.
Seriously. Mhm.
It was for a custom I made, so.
What about you, Rick? That Deathsaurus, your best one?
Deathsaurus. I have been piecing together a USS flag for, another 20 years, and every now and then I get the urge, I should look to see what parts I don't have, and then I don't remember what parts I have, so I end up having a lot of duplicate parts. I'm like, I don't have that, and I buy it, and I'm like, I've got 3 of these already. So I ended up building my own flag. So it's 16.5 feet long by 6.5 feet wide.
Wow.
And I used a lot of parts from the actual flag on it.
Okay. Mine, I think mine is a story of success and a story of what the hell. Back in the day, whenever G1 first came out in 1984, I got a G1 Skywarp. Now, I don't know if you guys remember the Ford LTDs, those type of cars, but they had, they were like, I guess, mainly 70s models and everything. I think that's what my mom and dad had, was like a 75 model, 76 model. At the time, that was like a 9-year-old car. It was still relatively new in 1984. But they were famous for like the bench seats in the front and the back. And
Yep.
I remember the day I got my G1 Skywarp, I got Skywarp and Thundercracker on the same day. But Skywarp, I opened him first. I opened him in the car because I waited until I got home to open Thundercracker. But I wanted to open Skywarp because I love those colors on him. He was just so awesome, that lavender and black. It just worked so well together. So I opened him up and everything, transformed him, and it was really cool. Had him in robot mode. And on the trip home, I got wrapped up in something other, so I set him down in the seat. Well, whenever I went to pick him back up, one of the rear tail wings had fallen off and fell down in behind the seat somewhere. Could not find it anywhere. My dad, he took the bench seat out and everything, still couldn't find it. Lost it. Don't know where it ever went to. So fast forward to 2004-ish, I guess, 2005. I think it was 2004. I had that lone incomplete Skywarp on my shelf, and I know Insane Galvatron had seen it. He'd always ask, what happened to your Skywarp wing? And I told him I lost it the day I got it. Literally 10 minutes after I opened it, I lost it. Don't know whatever happened to it. He was complete for a whole 10 minutes. And he came to, I believe, is the first OTFCC, and he found that little right wing for that Skywarp, and he came back and he says, I got a surprise for you. Opened up his hand, and it was that wing. I'm like, put him on my Skywarp, completed him, so happy. 2 years later, I sold it. Took over 20 years to complete the toy.
You sold a toy from your childhood?
I sold the biggest part of my collection in 2006, and I had all but maybe a handful left out of my original collection. That I tell you what, the only time I've ever really cried over my collection was we needed the money. We was in a bind, and I've told the story many times on the show. I sold a shrink wrap pallet to Big Bad Toy Store. Now, the cash value price that he gave me was $18,500 for it. So, pretty much double that. My collection was at least 30-ish, 32-ish on the overall value.
If that was 2006 from Big Bad Toy Store, I own some of your collection.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was... I had everything... Almost all of G1 except for a smattering of the late G1 stuff like Micromasters and some Pretenders. And then a few things like Reflector and some of the like Omnibots. I didn't have some of those. But everything else I had. And then from Fox Kids Repaint Beast Wars all the way through Universe 2.0. I had everything loose and sealed. And it just got to be too much. I felt like it was overtaking me. Needed the money, so I made the conscious decision to scale way back. I kept 100 toys. I picked out 100 toys, and some of them were my childhood toys, some of them were modern toys at the time, and then I sold the rest. And I tell you what, packing up some of those toys that were in the sale, that were from my childhood, that some of the memories attached for them, I was crying like a baby as I was putting them in the box. And I never thought, and that's the one time that really hit me. Up until that point, it was just a hobby. They were toys that I loved and I had fun with. But it was at that point that I realized the emotional connection that I had to these toys. And I will never forget that. You know, it was more than just a hobby to me. It was a part of my life. And it hurt so bad to sell off part of my childhood. I felt like I sold part of my soul that day. But it helped, and I'm still collecting. Still got a collection I'm proud of, I'm happy with. Do I miss some of those old toys? Yes. But, you know, they're gone now. And, you know, it was fun to complete that Skywarp. I remember the joy that I had. I'd had that toy at that point, 15, 16, almost 20 years. And I had it complete for 10 minutes when I got it. And I finally had it complete again. So I got to enjoy it complete. And that was my little story there. Hope you guys enjoyed that. So let's move on to our luck of the draw. You want to take it away there, Rick?
So we've done this before, and I'm just going over my notes here on my electronic device. We did a whole show of this last time, and we only asked 11 questions.
So
these are random.
We got shows and shows worth of these.
Yeah, these are just random questions. They're not trivia questions. They're just kind of what-if questions. And they can be asked of anyone in this fandom. So some of the questions that we asked last time was, one character must disappear forever. Who is it? Which G1 character should have been made into an Action Master? Only one more Titan class figure can ever be made. Who is it? So these are the types of questions. And those are all questions that we asked last time. So I'm going to open the randomizer here. And we're going to ask a random question. In a fight to the death, who would win? Brawn or Ironhide?
Oh, God. Is this one of these questions? I'll let Sean take it since he's the new guy on the show. Brawn or who?
I would think Brawn. You know, because one time Brawn did get Megatron's gun from him, or his cannon. He's a tough little guy.
They were both killed by Megatron in the film.
Yeah, it took one shot.
But I'm not talking about the film. I'm talking about beforehand. But I think Brawn would take Ironhide. He's a tough little guy, low center of gravity. He's got the upper hand.
Okay, interesting. Robert, your opinion?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ironhide. He's just bigger. They're robots. I'm gonna assume he has more pistons and literally has more pistons to create more force to squash his head and just be done with it. I mean, he can hold Braun at a distance, and Braun's like, let me, can't do nothing, and just done. No more Braun.
Squash him up into a little cube and put him in the back of his van mode. Haul him off to the dump.
Durandal?
I'm going to go with Ironhide because I'm going to lean on the side of experience. Ironhide, sometimes I think experience outweighs brawn, as it were. I see it in the trucking industry. Mistakes that I used to make as a rookie driver, I don't make them now, but I see other rookies doing that. So I'm like, I try to pass on what I know to help them out, and it's knowledge over skill, in my opinion. They have the ability to do the maneuvers, but they just don't know how to do them or don't know to do them. And so I'm going to lean on the side of experience with Ironhide, and I think he'll come out on top.
Peter Parker.
For me, it's no question. It's Ironhide. Braun took one shot and fell like a chump. Ironhide took several shots to smoke him, including a face shot. In the cartoon, Ironhide got shot in, what was it, the second or third episode when he was flying for no reason. And Braun in, what was it, Fire on the Mountain, got Megatron's cannon, and he took a shot from Soundwave, and he was fine, and that's great. But no, it's Ironhide all the way.
Okay, very interesting.
What about you?
I'm the one asking the questions here, so shut your dirty mouth. Several people online have documented opening sealed G1 figures. You mad, brah?
We showed that last week on this podcast. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a G1. Yeah.
Well,
Orson opened
says G1.
Orson opened a G2 breakdown that was not a BotCon or the European release. It was actually one that didn't have the sticker on it. He opened it. You can go back to last week's episode and watch that.
You mad?
Am I mad?
Does that make you angry?
No. I'm not angry about it.
Someone destroying a piece of history.
Destroying it, they're enjoying it.
They're enjoying it.
If you took like a set of Gen 2 Stunticons that you got off of eBay for $26,000 whatever and smashed them with a hammer, I would be upset.
Yeah.
But opening a figure, you do what you do with your toys. It's your collection, your rules.
Exactly.
Have fun with it.
Good point. I like that. Everyone collects their own way.
I've cut the tape on. It was sealed Star Saber and Victory Leo. I cut the tape.
Yeah, I've back in the '90s, man. I was opening and stickering up everything. I've opened a sealed Grand Max.
Oh, this was only like 10 years ago, but I still did it.
Well, like Rick, you had said you'd opened a Desirus. I did the same thing in '98. Popped the tape, stickered them up, had a good time with it. My Star Saber.
One thing I will say, I had a mint in box, Big Powered, the Zone set. Mm-hmm. The three figures, and I put the stickers on it. Do not put on original stickers; they fall off. They're
that papery garbage, and my Big Powered's still sealed. I haven't touched it yet, but I have the individuals open.
Yeah. So what I did for Star Saber and Victory Leo is I bought Rip Raw labels and I put those on. So I still have the G1 sticker sheets. And again, not that I care about keeping a sticker sheet. I know they're not going to stick very well. So why waste my time?
And that goes back to finding parts on the junker side of things, because finding a sticker sheet, impossible.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
I actually know someone who frames certain sticker sheets professionally. So, okay, these questions are totally at random. So,
Sean
not trying to say anything with this next question, but
wait a minute. Sean didn't do his.
Sean.
Yeah.
Sean. Well, I know the answer to my question to this next question. Then go ahead, Sean.
All right. I'll tell you what. My first real G1 Transformer was a Weird Wolf. So if I found one sealed in the box for a good price, I'd be hard pressed not to open it. Put it back together, just the way I did back when
You
they were
find
like
one
4.
sealed, you better sell it to me.
So,
I'm gonna open that thing up.
No.
Open it on the show.
I
Yeah.
am
Yep.
actually in search of a actual G1 US Weirdwolf sealed.
I mean, you can get the KO. I've been.
I don't want the
tempted to get
KO
the
one. I
KO,
want the actual one. I've got a complete loose one. I want a sealed one.
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Yeah,
now remember,
mine was
these
once
are
an arm. So
these are random questions. They all come out of my brain. You have to get rid of one person on the TFYLP cast. Who is it? Don't explain why.
Myself, just because I'm so full
You
of
can't.
self-loathing.
You can't answer yourself.
Damn it.
Robert.
Rick Alvarez.
do we have to explain why?
No, it specifically says don't explain why. Let your feelings be known. We'll come back to you. Duran.
Yeah, come back to me.
Yo, you want me to go now?
Yeah.
If I had to pick somebody to boot off the show with no explanation given,
I love this question.
Rick, get the fuck out. You're gone. Bye.
That's too. See, I think this should be a whole episode. You know, where the fans vote someone off the island, and nobody's
You are
safe.
the weakest link.
Nobody's safe.
Right.
Just like Infinity War. Nobody's safe.
You know, I got mine. That's Lucas, and he knows why.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Let's see. Millions of years ago, the Ark crashed on Earth. What new historical era should they have awoken in?
Oh.
Didn't
What?
we do this last time?
That was a question last time. It made it in there again. But since we have new people on since the last show,
I don't
Let's
want to
say
answer the
Hearts of
same
Steel.
one. That was my answer last time.
I like the idea behind Hearts of Steel, but I didn't like the book itself.
I answered
Alright.
Cowboys. So
I'm gonna go with like the medieval fantasy, like that type of era. I'm ignorant. I don't know what years of history that is, but you know, castles and knights and
dragons
all of that.
and
Yeah. Well, maybe not so much on the dragons, but there be tales of them. You know, I don't know why I
Megatron would
went
be a
pirate.
dragon, absolutely.
Yeah.
World War II. I mean, that's post. You know, Hearts of Steel.
They did that in that G.I. Joe crossover book from Dreamwave, didn't
That's
they?
right. Yep,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
That was interesting. Those are fun vehicles.
And that's actually part of the main story. They retconned it, so that's actually part of the main story now.
Huh.
It turns out those characters weren't actually Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. They just thought they were.
Oh, that was the Hearts of Steel guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
The,
because of Shockwave.
Yep. They were working for Onyx Prime, and they thought they were Eukaryotes, but they weren't. And yeah.
I love comics, yeah.
I'm confused.
Chris Parnell has been cast as the Transformer. Who does he play?
Hang on. Who?
I don't know who
believe
this
Chris
is.
Parnell.
You don't know who Chris Parnell is. Well, my answer, I wrote an answer here to some of these questions. My answer is Perceptor. Chris Parnell, he was on SNL. He plays the dad on Rick and Morty. He plays, he's on Archer.
He's Dr. Spaceman on.
Oh, it's
Dr.
Dr.
Spaceman.
Spaceman. Yeah.
I don't-
Spaceman. Dr. Spaceman. Yeah.
Okay.
I know some of his characters, but I don't
Lazy
know him.
Sunday.
Hmm.
Woke up in the late afternoon, activate Siri, tell him call Parms. Well, I have written down Perceptor. You guys don't know who that is, so, you know,
I definitely know who it is. I'm just trying to think of a good answer.
I am too.
get YouTube.
Fix it.
Because I mean,
Cast
it's got to be
Dr.
somebody.
Spaceman as somebody. Then
All right. We'll move on.
I'm going to go Alpha Trion with him. Fatherly figure.
It's the wrong answer. You don't know who Chris Parnell is, so that's the wrong answer.
Well, you said he was a dad on Rick and Morty. Just apply that.
Yeah.
Just apply that voice and
You
everything.
obviously haven't seen Rick and Morty, so
Yes, I have. I
got
said
the answer.
apply that. Apply
Who's
that.
got an answer?
Wheeljack.
He's a terrible.
I was gonna go with Bulkhead. Not go with one. Yeah, kind of lovable oaf.
Oh, okay. I had Perceptor, but okay, yeah. Okay. Only one can exist: a fan club with exclusive products, or a convention with no exclusive products.
Don't say that.
How about neither? Welcome to today. Woo!
Yay!
TFCon, Chicago, October 23rd. Yeah, so only one can exist: a fan club with exclusive products, or a convention with no exclusive products.
Fan club with exclusive products. I mean, we don't have it anymore. I kind of miss it.
I am all for conventions.
I'd rather have a convention with no exclusive product because, yeah, you don't get the experience of the dealing with the other members of the fandom with just a fan club.
In this
I like-
hypothetical, Rick, are fan conventions still a thing, or are you saying there's no conventions, period?
This is official.
Okay, yeah, then I would take the fan club and just go to TFCon to see everybody and local small conventions.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I would like to have a convention though, but you know, there's other outlets for exclusive toys. You know,
Here's the thing, though: if there's no exclusive products to buy at the convention, you don't have to wait in line.
Yeah, because nobody's there.
Batman actor Kevin Conroy has been cast as Optimus Prime. Yay or nay?
Yay.
Duran,
eh.
you know who Kevin Conroy is.
I probably know him if I saw him. I don't know him by name.
Oh my God!
He's the voice of Batman.
From Batman the Animated Series.
Oh,
the 90s.
him. Okay.
Literally Batman. He is
Okay.
the Batman. No one else is Batman.
Okay,
There's
then I do know
imitators.
him. Okay. Yay. I like that voice for him.
I'm gonna go with no. I love Kevin Conroy, and it pisses me off if I play a video game or see one of the DC animated movies that doesn't use Kevin Conroy for Batman. But I think he's so good at that, and that character is so different from what Optimus Prime is that I wouldn't pick him for that. It doesn't mean he's, getting
But it doesn't mean
absolutely
that
buffing.
Prime will sound like Batman. He can put different inflections on the voice.
Yeah.
But I only know him as Batman.
I say sure, why not?
Well, then
Yeah,
you're
give it a go.
then
See
you're
how it is.
typecasting him, and that's not fair.
I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here we go.
He's known for one great thing. Most people don't even have that.
Yeah. All right, here we go. HasLab announces their first Transformers project. It's a 3-foot long, almost 2-foot wide ARC spaceship at a cost of $600. Do you pull the trigger?
I just bought 2 of them. You know?
I buy
kid needs
2.
one. My kid needs one too.
I buy
Does
2.
it transform?
No, it's a playset. It's just a ship.
I assume
What?
it's got some interactive stuff on it, though,
I
right?
gotta
Maybe
have one sealed and one open, so
I'd be in for a
that's
buy.
$1,200. You're in for $600.
what size?
It's
It's
3
huge.
feet long, 2 feet wide.
So it would not
I
scale
don't
well
wanna
with
buy it.
Masterpiece.
I don't want to buy it, but I think I would just out of that pressure of I have to buy it type of thing.
The scale works great with crayon figures. Stephen Colbert has been cast as a Transformer. Who does he play?
Oh God. Oh God.
I have an answer already. Soundwave.
No.
Yeah.
I say Blaster.
No.
He's all about talking, and so yeah, I'd say Blaster.
Rat Trap.
Blue Streak.
Huffer.
Shaft.
Huffer. He's a smart ass.
I would say Blue Streak because he talks. He has jokes. He's I don't know.
All right, here's a dangerous question. Convex Endura. If you're not familiar with that, here's what it is. It's from the comic books. When two Cybertronians fall in love, remember, Transformers don't have genders per se. Some examples from recent lore include Chrome Dome and Eject, Cyclonus and
Rewind.
Tailgate.
It's Rewind.
Oh, sorry. Chrome Dome and Rewind, Cyclonus and Tailgate, as well as Knockout and Breakdown. Your thoughts?
I'm in. Game on.
I'm for it.
I don't see how it's
They're-
even an issue.
They're Transformers don't have gender. They have appearance of gender, but they don't have gender. What difference does
Love
it
is
make?
love is love is love is love. Let it go.
I don't
Sure,
give a
why
fuck.
not?
Even if they did have gender, I wouldn't give a fuck. Go for it.
Oh, man, the boards light up when you ask that question.
Yeah, because boards are stupid.
Yeah.
Boards were mad that Sting Thing is a girl. That shows you some ignorance out there.
Sting Thing rocks, by the way. Everyone should go buy one. Or two. Go get Sting Thing.
Let's see. Name a drink served only at McAdam's Old Oil Pub.
Oh God,
I have one here. It's called the Blurry Finish.
the blurry.
Because Blur owns McAdam's in the current storyline. So it's called the Blurry Finish.
Night Viper's venom.
Ooh! Excellent! That is great. I'm going to steal that one. I'm going to steal that. Night Viper's Venom. That is great. Robert.
Ironhide's leaky juice.
I like that one.
Leaking lubricant.
Leaking lubricant.
Ironhide's leaking lubricant. That sounds better. Stefan. You're creative. Come on.
Yeah.
Creativity takes time. We're on the spot.
Yeah, it takes time. Yeah, we're on the spot. Just
Peter Parker?
Rum and Coke.
I have no idea. I don't know what actual drink names are. Pina colada is an actual drink, right?
Yeah, but this is a drink that...
Right, but that would serve on Cybertron. I get it.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
So, I have no idea.
What about Junkion Goop?
Yeah,
No.
Junkion Goop. That's another one. That's great. Springer's Delight.
Shafter's cream.
Yeah. A creamy shafter. Yeah. A buttery swindle.
Hey, there's a character named Jack Shot, right? So
Yeah.
Oh God,
Jack Shot.
Jack Shaw's
Somebody,
Jack Shot.
somebody at a BotCon, I think it was like maybe 2001 or 2002, somebody made Viacon beer.
Viacon beer.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
What about Anti-Electron? Unicron Anti-Electron.
There you go. A popular drink is Njex in the story. Njex. All right, let's see. In early G1, several characters displayed unique abilities. Mirage, Trailbreaker, Skywarp, for example. Are these powers a mutant X factor? Do they warrant a scientific explanation? And finally, in today's modern storytelling, with the popularity of mutants and humans and metahumans, do these types of abilities have a place within modern Transformers lore?
TLDR.
yes, and Shockwave researched all that. He put all the outliers in that school of his, the Jahaxian Academy or whatever it was, right? So it isn't a mutant X factor. It has been touched in the comics. It is something that needs to be explored scientifically. Yeah.
I'll go with that.
I think
Now, here's something that we debated. We actually had a conversation about this at Hasbro one day. It was between Andy Schmidt and I was of the opinion that in certain points, there's people that have the same ability. There's cloakers like Mirage. He has the ability to cloak. There's other characters that can cloak. There's cloakers. There's warpers or teleporters like Skywarp. And he said, no, these characters, these powers are unique to these characters. Thoughts?
I don't
I would
think
say-
so. Go ahead, Peter.
No, Rob, go ahead. I've been talking too much.
There is no talking too much on a podcast.
I think I don't think they're unique to that character. I see it as a very mechanical thing. So like I don't see it as like mutant powers or whatever. I just feel as a robot, as a machine, they can only use so many upgrades. They can only use so many things, and those are the abilities they have chosen that fit their personalities for whatever reason. It's like if you're playing a video game, you can pick a few abilities, you can't pick them all. And so I think everybody has what they've chosen, and some are more evident than others. Like, oh, I can go invisible, or I can put up a force field. Some are like Braun. He's really short, but he's really strong. That's how it works in my mind. Unless again, the comic explicitly states otherwise.
Yeah, I think
right.
it's part of the character trait. It's definitely like what's Skywarp without teleporting, what's sound without us hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And some of you believe that they choose these powers.
I believe they were imbued with it.
I think it is. I think so too.
Interesting.
I don't know if they choose it so much, but I get the feeling that if other people wanted that, maybe they could go and get that by losing something of themselves.
Lockdown can go and take out Mirage's invisibility.
Yeah, he can swap around. I don't think anybody really bothers that too much, but
Lockdown is essentially the Mega Man of Transformers.
So does everyone have these powers, and it's just a matter of time before they awaken?
Not in my head canon, no.
I think it's just something like what Sean said. They're imbued with. They're built with the ability to do it, but there's a physical thing that allows them to do it. Like Skywarp has something that opens like a transdimensional window that he can slide through in and out at will.
Interesting.
Well, then
Mirage has a way to bend light around him to become invisible.
Are Transformers built, or did they evolve from a natural set of pulleys and gears?
There's there's
Hey, they can grow beards, can't they?
Cold Construct and Forge. So,
yep.
But okay, let's wrap it up with this question. I think this is a good one. Crossovers are usually conceived as two entities meeting one another. What about a crossover where two things are combined? For example, Mr. T not just meeting the Ghostbusters, but Mr. T being a Ghostbuster. What combines with Transformers?
Well, certainly not Visionaries, apparently.
Back to the Future, Knight Rider, A-Team Van, Turtle Van, that's all stuff I like to see as far as, making a Transformer out of those.
Okay. Character-wise, let's focus on that, because it kind of calls out Mr. T being a Ghostbuster. So it's like Star Wars and Transformers. The X-Wing turns into Luke Skywalker. Does the Knight Rider kit car turn into Michael Knight?
So you're saying like the consciousness
and everything.
The consciousness would be put into like the spark of the Transformer and actually be that character.
What would combine? Yeah, it's a DeLorean that turns into a Transformer. Okay. Great.
So you're saying like Magnum PI would be able to solve his cases a lot easier if he were a Ferrari that turned into a robot with a mustache?
Nah.
Yeah.
I'm saying, does that work? I mean, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Mr. T is still Mr. T, even if he's a Ghostbuster. He's just Mr. T. Think of it this way. Mr. T cast in a Ghostbusters movie. So cast a Transformer in a movie.
I would like to see a Transformer, if something combines with Transformers, like, Mr. T becoming a Ghostbuster, I would rather him not be a Transformer, but the Transformers exist in their world.
I got
it.
Transformers and Fast and the Furious. That totally
Isn't that
works.
essentially the Michael Bay films?
I mean, you've got Tyrese, right? Doesn't he play the same character?
I'd have to watch Fast and the Furious.
I mean,
it's all about racing.
Then at some point you're going to have Dom Toretto voicing a Transformer, and do you really want that?
I probably wouldn't watch it anyway. So
didn't he voice the Iron Giant? I mean, it's.
Yeah, but basically all he said was Hogarth.
That's true, and Superman.
All right, Don Toretto as the Street Shark.
Random
I
question.
saw that video.
Random bonus question. Vin Diesel has been cast as a Transformer. He's been given the option to play Grimlock or Optimus.
Grimlock.
Grimlock.
Oh, it'd have to be Grimlock because since it's a real voice or a famous person voicing them, they're going to kill him in the first episode, and I don't know if they want to kill off Optimus Prime that quick. So,
I like
Let's just bring
Marcus
it back
Gray's
later.
answer: Headmaster Mr. T or Head Mr. T.
Yes. See, that's where I think Hasbro could continue the Headmasters line. They start licensing out things, so they have the Captain Kirk, the Mr. T, the alien xenomorph Headmasters that combine with the regular Transformers. You know, they're just the little heads that pop on.
Ryan Vingetex, I'm sorry, I apologize if I misread that, but Golden Girls and Transformers, Blanche as Megatron's love interest.
I would watch that.
If Blanche was a Transformer, what would she be? A Cadillac? No.
She'd
No.
be a
No.
Buick.
She'd be a shagwagon.
She'd be a Hummer. She'd be a Hummer, guys. Come on.
No, shagwagon.
Golden Girls meets Transformers. What
I
happens
would
if
watch
E. Arthur
Golden
has
Girls, Transformers. Yeah, I would watch that.
E. Arthur with the Matrix of Leadership? What is that? What happens there? Does every Transformer have a slot in their chest for the Matrix?
Blanche has
Depends
certainly
on
got a slot
continuity.
in her chest.
Depends on necessity of the story.
yeah.
Right.
Okay, guys, let's get out of here.
All
I should
right.
probably check on my kids. I left them somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's on the other side of the room here.
Get them out of the closet, man. They just,
Well, you put some newspaper down, they're fine.
yeah. Just refill their water bowl and they'll be fine. All right, guys. I hope you all have enjoyed this episode. You know, luck of the draw will come back. Like I said, we want to try to come back to it at least once a month, maybe every other month. You know, it's fun, it's random, and it's off the cuff. I love the question and answer type thing. It's really fun. As always, check out our sponsor, CapturePrey.com. Great toys, great prices, great service. You can save even more with orders of $150 or more with free domestic shipping. And you also have the Stasis Pod, which you can hold orders, kind of like other stores have. You can have orders shipped whenever you get to a certain amount and save money that way. Also, check out Ripped Apparel at rippedapparel.com. Use the promo code on checkout, TFYLP Pod, and you'll save 10% on your order. That is to say, unless there's a better one already available existing on the website at the time. But sometimes we're the best one. Yes, use it. TFYLP Pod is the promo code for that. And as always, help support us at patreon.com/TFYLP. Without your help, we couldn't continue each and every week. You know, it helps pay the bills. And really appreciate you guys. Without you, without your support through Patreon, there would be no TFYLP right now. That's that important. So thank you to each and every one of you who continues to support us each and every week. You guys have any closing thoughts?
Stonegate is neither a stone nor a gate.
Stargate is neither a star nor a gate.
It is a gate. Well, I guess it's more of a portal.
Yes, it's not a gate. You can't. Once you close it, it
portal,
won't.
yeah.
Once you close it, it won't reopen.
Yeah.
Who would want to pierce Brosnan?
You know, that's a good question. Awkward silence. Somebody here wants to. And on that thought,
Why wouldn't you Pierce Brosnan? Pierce Brosnan or Daniel Craig?
Daniel Craig.
Who's better
Craig.
than Bond?
Because Daniel Craig was in my favorite of the James Bond films, and that was Skyfall. That was my favorite. All right, guys. I think we'll wrap it up this week. Thank you all for joining us on TFYLP. We'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Laters.
Till all are one.
Forever Destron.